Yeah, welcome in. Tuesday edition of the Sports Huddle on SEMO ESPN Radio. You can always find us at 1220 on the AM dial, 93.5 FM, and online at SEMOESPN.com. And if you have a smartphone, you can download our free app. Free download, just go to your app store, search for SEMO ESPN. It has the Listen Live link. It has links to our contests and promotions, the latest breaking news, the latest radar weather forecast, and a link to our podcast page. It's free. It's the SEMO ESPN app. Eric Shawn and the lead singer of the Mike Rennick Band in studio inviting you to join us in the huddle. Our EBOMD huddle hotline number, 573-334-1220. 573-334-1220. Huddle hotline powered by EBOMD. Michael Rennick in the house. So clearly the winning Powerball ticket sold in the state of Missouri was not sold to the Rennick family.
No, it was not.
You wouldn't be here.
I would not be. I may be here just to have a little fun.
Just to gloat.
Yeah.
Just to fan some cash in everybody's face. Make it rain.
Yeah, no, not, which is fine, Can't expect to have things handed to you.
One was sold in Texas, and the other was sold at a Quick Trip in North County in St. Louis.
Really? QT?
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting times for somebody. There's
someone.
No doubt about that.
So, the radiant and ravishing Dawnchon, she definitely wanted us to keep up with the Powerball. So the last, couple of weeks, hey, give me $20 in Powerball. Didn't win. I think one of our tickets had the Powerball number, and so I don't know. She said you win $4. So we're kind of basking
You're excited.
We're basking in our winnings at this point. And Jaws is one of my all-time favorite movies, and saw it in the theater when I was a kid. And so they have come out with the scratch-offs, 50th anniversary Jaws. So I bought a few of those, and I thought, certainly somebody who is such a Jaws fan like me, this is perfect.
Deserves to win.
I just got little victories, $5 here, $10, nothing big.
Hey, man, it's
a shame.
That's the way it goes.
So, Monday Night Football last night, that game was over. I just couldn't believe Minnesota came back and won the game. I don't think it was anything as stunning as what we saw out of the Buffalo Bills and the collapse from the Baltimore Ravens, but that was a nice little comeback by Minnesota last night.
Was it 17-6?
17-6?
Yeah, and second half, or at least most of it, turned into Vikings football. I didn't see. We had our Heartland Idol last night at the SEMO Fair, so I kind of was able to watch most of the second half.
Yeah.
Like Vikings started running the ball and, getting a bunch of yardage that way. And, did I see that the Bears had like 120 yards in penalties?
It was not good.
A lot of yardage on the penalty side, and Vikings defense stood tall and shut the Bears down.
12 penalties for 127 yards for the Chicago Bears.
That's a lot of yardage.
Good Lord. McCarthy, much like when he was at the University of Michigan, they didn't ask him to throw the ball a million times. He was 13 of 20, 143, two touchdowns and one pick. And, after struggling early offensively, and Scott Van Pelt called out a lot of people. He's hosting the postgame show at the site in Chicago. And so he called out a lot of people on social media that were crushing J.J. McCarthy at halftime and early. And then McCarthy with the team down 17-12. This was about all you needed.
They're expecting the ball to come out quicker than what it did. McCarthy. Pass is caught. Spinning grab by Aaron Jones. And somehow, some way, the Minnesota Vikings are on top.
Threw it to Aaron Jones, their veteran running back, out of the backfield, and there were two defenders there, right corner of the end zone, just across the goal line near the pylon. Really good throw by McCarthy, and they held on for the win.
Yeah, he had a nice, was it third and short? Had a nice keeper where he ran for the touchdown.
Right.
So, yeah, they did
Caleb Williams ran for a touchdown.
They did it. Bears have a terrible record inside their division, and it didn't get any better last night, unfortunately. But tough way to start the new regime.
I just wonder how
the
good
Bears.
or how bad they are. And Caleb Williams has all kinds of talent, but it just doesn't. It's not happening yet. And Ben Johnson is a very respected offensive coordinator. We'll see how he is as a head coach, but, man, it looked like the Bears had that thing in the win column.
I think, I don't know, do you think Green Bay? I know we kind of went through our, not kind of, we went through our picks last week, I guess it was. I think I picked the Lions to come out of that division. I don't know, did you pick Lions or Green Bay? Yeah, look at the wall of shame over there.
I had the Lions.
Yeah, so did I.
They looked brutal.
I may want to change that pick, but that's a hard division. That's Green Bay obviously looks a whole lot better, and Vikings had a great season last year. So,
or are they 15-2 with Darnold?
Yeah, something like that. So that's a tough division, and if you're a Bears fan, you probably thought you had it, and then second half rolls around, and the script got flipped.
So for Caleb Williams, 21 of 35, 210, passing touchdown, rushing touchdown in the football game, and I don't know, it was a pretty good game. It's a nice win for the Dolphins. And if you are
the Vikings
or Dolphins, what was it? Somebody named Tua Tagovailoa I don't know, turnover. They interwove
turnover Tua.
Yeah, they interwove the phrase turnover into his last name, Tagovailoa.
Okay.
Oh, turn the ball over. I think it was something like that. Turn the ball over. All right. You taking calls? We got a Vikings fan on the line.
And after that little
it's
kind of episode
try
there,
to distance ourselves.
Get to the phones.
Distance ourselves and try not to relive what just happened.
Perfect.
All right. Let's head to the phone lines. Jay, resident Vikings fan on the line. Are you here to do a victory lap, Jay?
I mean, I'm not ready to do the huge skull clap. It wasn't pretty in the beginning, but, we made do.
And both teams only 3 of 12 on third down, but 317 yards for the Bears and 254 for the Vikes.
I mean, it is what it is. A W is a W. I mean, any way you carve it up. I mean, that's the Vikings living by one-score wins. That's been their MO for the last 2 seasons. So,
well, what'd you think of J.J. McCarthy?
He had some moments. He made some throws when he needed to make throws. He made some plays with his legs that looked pretty good. Yeah, he took some bad sacks in the beginning, but I think he matured as the football game progressed.
What I think's interesting is how little they asked him to do in that offense. I mean, they obviously at Michigan with Jim Harbaugh, they wanted to run the football and play good defense and have an efficient quarterback and not try to heap a ton offensively on his plate. And that it seemed like that's kind of what the Vikings did last night.
Yeah, it seemed like that's what was a good balance, and he don't have to throw for 300 yards a game in that offense. That offense is built for that nice little short intermediate pass. They're not going to air raid it anytime soon. I mean, if they do, they have weapons to air raid it. And listen, that's one thing I'll say, that he walked into the best situation most of his rookie class. I mean, think about Aaron Jones. I think is the most underrated player on that team. I mean, that guy, he blocks, he catches balls out of the backfield, and he runs well. So,
well, that was a very good throw and a good catch. I mean, there were two defenders on Aaron Jones when he caught that touchdown we just played.
Yeah, right. No, it was a nice, good first showing for McCarthy. I think as the season progresses, you'll see him. I mean, I'm not looking. I mean, I wasn't a Sam Darnold lover, but I thought the Vikings this year might take a small step backwards only because this guy's never taken a snap in a regular season game yet. But I mean, the story is still to be told. But that division, like you said, Eric, tough. I mean, yes, Detroit didn't look well, but Detroit's not going to be bad. I don't see it. And Green Bay, they're young and they're hungry. Chicago played better. I mean, Williams got out of some sacks. I mean, yeah, he still was running for his life, but he still made some nice plays with his legs, and he made some nice throws. And the fourth quarter really let them down, though. But all in all, I thought the Bears played better. So that division is not going to be a walk in the park, as they say.
So now it's a couple of home games for the Vikes, Jay. It's Atlanta, and then Joe Burrow and the Bengals will come to Minneapolis.
Yeah, Atlanta, I don't know how to read them. I mean, they could have won that game. They could at least tied the game against Tampa Sunday. But Cincinnati, early in the year, who knows what they're going to have. And that's a battle of two great receivers, Jefferson and Chase.
And Jefferson had himself a touchdown last night.
Yeah, no, he got in the end zone. It's nice to see. And it was nice like I said, the second half looked a lot better. Still have a little bit of issues with the offensive line, but I think they can get it worked out.
Did you have to work last night, or were you able to watch the game?
I was at work last night. I had it on at work.
Now, Jay, as a Vikings fan, when there's divisional play, who's the team that you want to beat? Like who's
Green Bay?
Green Bay is the team.
Green Bay.
All day. That's how it is for everybody. It sounds like.
Has that always been the case, or just lately?
Always.
Okay.
That's never going to change. Green Bay, close second, Chicago. Then Detroit was usually never been too relevant to talk about, but they're starting to be a little thorn in the side too, because that was a tough loss last year, the last week of the season. Then they had to go on the road to play L.A. in the playoff game, and we all knew how that turned out. And yeah.
So with the Green Bay hate when Favre was in your camp, what was that like?
Mixed feelings. Don't love the guy, but you had to respect the warrior attitude of the guy going out there every day to just lace it up. I mean, that's a record that'll never even get close to. 298 starts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you say
Iron Man. I mean, listen, you say what you want. The guy was just a warrior, and the guy just that Monday Night Football game against the Raiders, after his dad died. Talk about playing on guts and pure heart.
What did he throw? 5 touchdowns in that game?
Yeah, and that's when I found my new respect for Favre. I always respected him, but I had more admiration for the guy. Never was a lover of the guy, but I had more of a respect.
Now, do you say I was never a lover of the guy now in retrospect with the whole controversy down in Mississippi, or...
I didn't follow that too closely, Eric, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And
All right.
do you were you an Aaron Rodgers guy? Are you rooting for Rodgers now?
Never root for that guy. Never. Nope. Never have. Never will. Crybaby. Overrated. Needed to retire 3 years ago. But I'm not his biggest supporter at all.
Clearly.
Not at all.
All right, Jay. Well,
all right, gentlemen.
Good luck against the Falcons next week, and call back whenever you want.
Okay, thanks, Eric.
All right.
See you, Jay.
Appreciate the call. Never a fan of Favre. Hated Rodgers. I can understand that as a Vikings fan.
Yeah, I mean, if Green Bay is the target for you, then there's probably not many players that you're gonna say that you like that wore the Green Bay uniform. He probably said the same things that the Jets said to over the weekend when Steelers came. He's done. We don't want him on the roster anymore. And how many touchdowns did they drop on the Jets with the Steelers?
He threw 4 touchdowns.
4 touchdowns, yeah.
So did you see this deal with Eli Drinkwitz, the head coach of Mizzou football?
Drama drink?
Who is whoa? I haven't heard. Is that a nickname for him?
I just kind of came,
Okay,
I mean,
I understand.
He likes to stir it up.
The nationally ranked Tigers, they are number 25 in this week's AP poll. And oh, by the way, let's pass this along before we get into the Mizzou talk. It was reported yesterday. Apparently, they have made the announcement of the start time of the big South Carolina game. It's odd the way that the SEC does that they come out ahead of time and tell you when kickoff is. They don't do that in the OVC Big South. They don't do that in every conference, but they do in the SEC. It's been that way for a while. Peter Burns, yesterday of the SEC Network, reported that South Carolina and Mizzou is going to be a night game, September 20th in Como. So it's going to be a game under the lights, South Carolina and Mizzou. You like that?
Yeah, it'll probably be going on right whenever SEMO plays SIU.
Yeah.
So
it right now on Mizzou's website it says 6 or 6:30. We don't know which. 6 or 6:30. So night game rather than the 11 a.m. kickoff or the 2:30 start time.
It obviously shows that somebody thinks that both programs are playing well right now, and it'll be a big matchup and get a lot of eyeballs on that game.
So apparently in Columbia, they do some TV stuff where they've got, and maybe it's on the Missouri television network for the school. But there is a guy, a beat writer for the Columbia Missourian, and he is a Mizzou student. His name is Zach Sweet. And so they have this little round table. It's called the Tigers Kickoff Show, where, the thing now in sports media is need your predictions, right? Everything prediction.
Hot take time.
So he's a Mizzou student and beat writer for the Columbia Missourian. And so when it came time to predict who was going to win between Missouri and Texas and Kansas, Border Wars showdown, Zach Sweet was on the round table, and when it came his time to give his thoughts on the way that it was going to shake out at Faurot Field, this is how it went for Zach Sweet.
I'm going to start off by apologizing to all the Mizzou students who I'm about to offend with this. I have Kansas winning the game 30-27. There's this thing called journalistic integrity, and I genuinely believe that Kansas is going to win this game, or else I wouldn't say it. Kansas is going to win 30-27 on a late field goal. I just think Jalen Daniels' experience ends up making a difference. I think he's going to be able to get the ball out to Emmanuel Henderson and Cam Pickett way too often. I don't think Missouri's defensive backs are going to be able to maintain coverage with them all day. So I'm going to go Kansas 30-27.
Respect the honesty, but I think we're done.
All right, so there you go. You got the background now. Zach Sweet, beat writer, Columbia, Missouri, and a Mizzou student. And so not only did he praise Jalen Daniel, the quarterback for Kansas, but also said he thought he would do well against Missouri's defensive backs. Well, after the football game at the post-game press conference, Eli Drinkwitz. And by the way, Mizzou in the game, they were down 21-6. They were down 24-21. They were down 31-28. So there were multiple times where it looked like Mizzou could lose the game, but they end up winning the game. And they put up almost 600 yards of offense, 595. So obviously, Zach Sweet shows up to the post-game press conference, and immediately Eli Drinkwitz reminding everybody he's a receipt keeper. Here is I've got the sound, but the sound, you can't really hear Drinkwitz that great. So here is the quote from Drinkwitz as he is getting the post-game press conference underway. I'm just going to say it. He's talking to Zach Sweet, who's there at the press conference. I'm just going to say it. It was a really poor take that you had on picking Kansas to win. So with that, I'll open it up for questions. And then he came back to it and said, it's a pretty bad take. You felt good about that take? So immediately, Drinkwitz showing everybody that he keeps receipts and kind of targeting the student reporter at Mizzou.
So that's how he opened the press conference?
Yes.
Well, I think he likes bulletin board material. I think he kind of believes in that. You know, some coaches don't seem to believe in the bulletin board material, but Drinkwitz seems like the type of guy that does. And he has a long memory.
Well, clearly he has a long memory. So that's the way that it went with Eli Drinkwitz. Dalen Carnell is one of the Mizzou Tiger defensive backs. He was watching the show.
Must be a pretty popular show.
Apparently.
If all these guys are watching it.
And so, you know, many of the Mizzou football players themselves will also meet with the media after the game. He's in uniform, and here's Carnell calling out Sweet.
Hold on, I saw him say something. Yeah. That was a terrible take, and please don't disrespect the back end no more, and stop cheering for KU. You're a Missouri Tiger. Thank you.
Okay, with that, let's start with a question, right?
All right, there we go. That's how he opened up his question and answer session. You are a Mizzou Tiger. Don't disrespect the back end. So what's he saying? The DBs, the back end of the defense. You're a Mizzou Tiger. Stop rooting for Kansas. I don't think the kid was rooting for Kansas. He gave the journalistic integrity. He thought that Kansas was going to win the football game. Fair or foul, Drinkwitz and Carnell keeping receipts and calling out the kid in the press conference.
Well, I think if they're going to apply that receipt taking to everybody, then it's fair. Just to maybe single him out. Were there other press members in that space that picked against Mizzou? I don't know, but if there were, then hopefully they got called out as well. But when you make predictions, that's what you open yourself
That's
up
the way
to.
it goes.
It's the way it goes. That's part of the business.
So after the press conference, Zach Sweet got on Twitter/X, and here was his tweet. My apologies to @DalenCarnell, put his handle on there. I'll own it. One thing must be made clear, though. I promise you and anyone watching this that there was no cheering for KU. I'm a Mizzou student. I look forward to actually being able to cheer on the Tigers after this year. In other words, there's no cheering in the press box. There is a sign. If it's a legitimate press box,
sure,
that sign is there. Oftentimes on your credential that you get from a school or an event that you're covering, it says, I mean, that's just, everybody knows there's no cheering in the press box, but it's actually on there. There are also on a lot of media credentials basically saying, don't be asking for autographs. You know, you can get your credential revoked for cheering in the press box, asking for autographs, all that kind of stuff. You're there to do a job, supposed to be neutral.
What about,
we understand that can't always be the case.
What about eating too much of the media spread?
That is a time-honored tradition.
Full-on legal?
Yes. Time-honored tradition among media members.
Now, I don't know.
They're like hyenas when the food comes out. Hyenas.
I don't know that he should have apologized. I don't know that I care for that.
He's a kid.
I get that. I know. But he's also a student that is being taught how to be a journalist, right?
Right.
And so, well, you know, as a journalist, your job is to report the facts and, in this case, make some predictions. And they're not always going to be predictions that people like. And I don't think that just because they're probably not teaching him in school. Now, just because you go to work for a certain organization, you have to always, predict in their favor. That's not journalism, is it?
But players and coaches expect you to. Or if you get it wrong, then there are a lot like Drink that may call you out.
And I get that. Yeah.
Back in the day, I'm sure you remember this, when they had a bigger staff at the Southeast Missourian with Marty Mischow and Jeff Breer and Toby Carrig, some of the people that used to work, they had, a lot of people working in that sports department. They used to do weekly predictions and keep track of all. You remember back in the day when they used to do that?
Yeah.
And I don't remember if they ever asked us to get involved. Maybe they did.
I think for a short time.
Maybe we got involved.
Yeah.
Our sports staff here because
maybe a short time. There were some of those were added in,
and so everybody, involved in those with those schools, coaches, players, fans, they would keep receipts on that stuff.
It's a tough line to walk. There's no doubt about it. Because there's also a fine line between like putting on the journalist hat and then also putting on the home team play-by-play announcer. Those are two different roles in essence, and it's just not an easy line to walk. There's no doubt about that.
But if we did predictions, I have a feeling that if I was involved in something like that and would pick against SEMO and they would win the game, that I would hear it from Took.
You probably would.
So I'm not.
And probably rightly so.
Yeah. So it's not about, and you can ask that guy, it's not about who you want to win. Who do you think is going to win the game? And apparently the kid thought, it's not, it was a 6.5 point spread.
And he was right for quite a while.
Yeah. It's not like everybody on planet Earth would just, oh, man, Kansas is not even going to compete with Missouri.
Right.
Well, they did.
I fully understand the optics. You're a Mizzou student. you're should be pro Mizzou, especially when it comes to Kansas. They haven't played Kansas since what, 2011?
2011 was the last time they played Kansas.
You know,
so
he may have rival.
He may have heard about the rivalry, but he's a student. He wasn't around for the rivalry, or at least he was, somewhat of a kid.
Sure.
If he followed Missouri back then, I don't know where he's from.
Yeah, I would say, though, that the tradition of not liking Kansas is probably ingrained in the student body, regardless of your age or how long that you've been around. So,
but it's been a long time since Norm Stewart made the statement, we won't even purchase gasoline for our bus in the state of Kansas. We will wait until we cross the state line, and then we'll get gas for the bus.
I'm sure he was probably there when Mizzou basketball beat Kansas last year. The crowd was in a frenzy, obviously, but I totally get the optics of it, but I also understand he's trying to carve his way as a journalist.
And Drinkwitz, they had won the football game, and he was saying everything with kind of a lighthearted smile on his face while he was calling out the dude, but he addressed it twice.
Yeah.
That take?
I wonder if they would have happened if they would have lost. Would he have even mentioned it at all? Probably not.
No.
But
clearly in our society today, I mean, receipt taking, man. Players, everybody is keeping receipts. Right?
Well, they don't even have to keep them. I mean, they're documented for you now in every, through online and all the different mechanisms, whether it be, video or X or whatever the case is. You want to dig up something somewhere, it's easier than ever to do that.
So let's switch to baseball, where the Cardinals opened up a series in Seattle, and, they're making a little push here. Winners of 4 of 5, back to the 500 mark. You're playing a Seattle team which had won back-to-back games, and they had scored 28 runs in their previous 2 games against Atlanta. And, of course, the Cubs lose to Atlanta and score 1 run. Their offense is literally putrid. Shy away from the Cubs. Back to the Cardinals. Speaking of putrid offense, we saw some of that last night. If you stayed up, 8:40 first pitch. Miles Michaelis keeping receipts on what Mike Rennick has to say about him. Michaelis, 5 innings, 2 runs. You'll take that.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
5 innings, 2 runs.
I think he got jobbed in a major way, which the inning that led to the 4 runs for Seattle,
where Marmol brought Graceffo in.
Right, but first batter, I think it was their 9-hole Rivas, I believe. He had him struck out. I mean, not only was he struck out on the pit, well, they appealed for a swing, and third base ump said no swing, but the ball was clearly a strike.
Yes,
maybe a couple times in that at bat, which eventually led to a walk, and we know what happens whenever you walk a batter, especially lead off the inning, and then the floodgates opened up. Michaelis was clearly frustrated in that particular sequence with the home plate umpire.
It's going to be a rude awakening for a lot of these incompetent umpires next year when the challenge system just shows they blew it. In a spot like that.
It changed the game.
Yes.
I mean, it completely changed the game. And you knew, if you follow a little bit, that, Michaelis is kind of on at the tail end of his outing. I thought it was interesting to see his ERA actually goes down the third time through the order.
That's very odd.
It's very odd. Second time through, it's the highest, and then the third time through, it's the lowest of. And you don't see pitchers go past the third time through very often. But anyway, that was a huge at bat. Opened the floodgates. And you just kind of had the sense that when that happened, that okay, here they come, and
Graceffo is not a guy you trust anyway.
I was surprised to see him in that spot.
That were not available last night.
Sponson not available.
Sponson not available. O'Brien was not available.
Yeah.
Ollie talked about it after the game. Here's Marmal. Cardinals get Alec Burleson back. He cranks a 2-run homer after Ivan Herrera singled in the 4th. Burleson hits a 2-run homer. 4th inning, 2-0. Cardinals had 1 hit the rest of the game. They got 1 batter to second base last night. 1.
Yeah, I mean, well, right, and you're not going to win a game like that. You can't rely on the starters that you have to hold. Other than an occasional Sonny Gray, you can't necessarily rely on them to shut out the opposing team, regardless of who the team is. And this is a great offensive team.
Also, keep in mind the Cardinals 4 through 9 hitters in a game, Mike. 0 for 19, 12 Ks. They struck out 14 times.
3 of those by your good buddy
Nolan Gorman. And stop me if you've heard this before. Jordan Walker last night, 0 for 3, ground out 2 Ks. I mean,
but it was a hard ground out. Yeah, so Nolan Gorman now hitting 219, a 712 OPS. Jordan Walker, 215 with a 574 OPS.
Hard to believe.
It's
All
tough.
Right. Here is Ollie after the game. And he starts out with talking about Miles Michaelis, who did not throw the ball poorly.
It is a tough lineup. He some hard contact the first time through, but led to outs, and then mixed well enough. Sinker and a righty was good. Secondary stuff, the lefties landed it, which helped him out. But at the end of the day, him going a third time through there didn't make a whole lot of sense. Unfortunately, what we brought in didn't work either. Yeah, we give him a shot at it once he walks the 9-hole, and then the next guy gets on. We go with Graceffo and try to finish the game with the guys that are available. But yeah, we had several guys down. We knew we took our shot over the last 2 days to beat San Fran and came up on top there. But leading into today, you had the majority of your high leverage guys outside of JoJo down. We didn't do a whole lot against it. Burleson took a nice swing for the 2-run homer. But outside of that, not a whole lot. Yeah, he's a big part of our lineup, man. Having him back in there is a big part of what we've been able to do this year. And having Contreras back tomorrow definitely helps as well. Having your high leverage guys down, you want to give them that opportunity to be able to come in there and show the ability to miss some bats. And there's been times he's been able to do it, and times like tonight where it doesn't go his way. But that's part of growth, is you have to continue to run him out there and give him those opportunities. I feel like next year you're looking at a guy that should be able to go in there in those high leverage situations and get those outs, and we're going to build towards that.
He's going to pump up Graceffo. He's not going to throw Graceffo under the bus. Just hung a breaking ball to Naylor, and he just roped it into right center field. That was about it.
That was pretty much the game.
Just didn't work out. Alec Burleson, the 2-run homer, and that was it. And Burleson got up there late. I mean, Cardinals had a shot, but every inning it was 1-2-3, 1-2-3 with 2 strikeouts every inning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 14 Ks in that baseball game. So,
yeah, I kind of figured when Graceffo came in that there was a short bench in the bullpen. You can't bring in Romero probably that early in the game, knowing that if you have a chance late, you're going to need him to try to close it down. I don't know. You probably know these splits, but does Rowley hit better against righties versus lefties? Is it equal? I didn't know if that would play a part in who came in at that point, but yeah, I think first batter was Cal Rowley was first batter. I think Graceffo faced and he walked him. And now there's that's a guy. I made note of this as I was watching. To your point, I know we kind of, harp on the the low batting average of someone like Nolan Gorman, but talk about his power. You know, Rowley's hitting, 242 or so? He's hitting 240, I think, but has the 53 home runs and 100-plus RBIs. 113, so obvious, 9-something OPS, so, obvious. That's the new era of baseball right there, that you're not going to strike out, not going to hit for average, but you're going to get fantastic production, and so you can deal with the low batting average in that case. But you can't have all of it, not working out.
Go back over the last several years. I mean, Kyle Schwarber doesn't hit for a high average, but he is a producer, and he takes his walks. Sure. And this year, he's an MVP candidate, as Raleigh is, and there's a good chance that he makes some history over the next 2 games against the Cardinals. He's sitting on 53 home runs. The all-time record for home runs in a single season by a switch hitter is Mickey Mantle in 61. And Mantle would have hit more had he not had to miss the end of the year with that hip infection. But you've got Matthew Liberatore tonight. Do you think Raleigh is a better hitter against lefties or righties? See, you don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we're not following, Mariners baseball. I mean, we're keeping an eye on this guy who's having this great season.
He was in the home run derby, wasn't he?
Yes.
Which side did he hit from? Do you recall?
Both.
He did hit both.
Yeah, he did both. I think he did most of his damage lefty, though.
My guess was going to be lefty because he probably hits lefty more often.
He does.
So
he's got 198 more at bats against right-handed pitching.
Yeah.
But against lefties, lethal. So in 166 at bats, he's got 20 of his 53 home runs against lefties. In other words, against righties, as a left-handed hitter, he's hitting 225. As a right-handed hitter, he's hitting 277. So you're talking about 52 points higher as a right-handed hitter. His OPS as a left-handed batter, Mike, 888. Against lefties as a right-handed batter, his OPS is 1,012.
Man.
He is slugging 676 against lefties as a right-handed batter. And he's got Liberatore tonight. Yes. So just giving you a little preview here, he is just demonstrably better as a right-handed hitter, but he is still lethal as a left-handed hitter.
Yeah, that probably played a part in the decision last night to bring in Graceffo. I don't know what other lefties would have been available in the bullpen besides Romero, but you probably don't want to turn him around in that situation.
So tonight, it is George Kirby, who's a good pitcher, but he's not having a good year for Seattle. I mean, when you think about the Mariners the last couple of years, you think about excellent pitching. They can't score. Their offense is better. They made some key acquisitions at the deadline, but quite frankly, their pitching has been a disappointment. So you'd like to think that the Cardinals could get something done here because you got 2 more games against Seattle, then you go to Milwaukee.
Yeah, you don't want to take your chances going to Milwaukee.
And the Mets lost in Philly last night 1-0. So you had a chance. You could have been 3.5 out with 17 to play if you win that game last night.
You know how many teams are still within? Yeah, as MLB has expanded the wild card, which I know some people hate. Last 2 out of the 3 champions have been like 6 seeds or something like that, so I know that that drives some of the purists crazy. But
2 years ago, Rangers, wild card.
Yeah, exactly. But here we are, 17 games to go, which I know is not a lot Cardinals still 4.5 back. Bunch of other teams are still within earshot. So
you've got 4 teams in the National League within 4.5, including the Cardinals, D-backs, Reds are 4 back, Giants 3 back, and they bounced back and won last night.
You'd say if you're within 5, at least
17
right
to
now,
go,
you still have a fighting chance. That'd be nice to, win the next couple of games, maybe pick up a game at least, on the Mets over the rest of the series here, and then you got to battle. I mean, Cardinals have a tough schedule the rest of the way out. You got the Brewers. You had the Brewers twice, I think.
Correct.
At Milwaukee, and then at home. I know they face the Cubs again. Or no,
yes,
they do.
At Wrigley. The
at
final
Wrigley.
3 games are at Wrigley.
Yeah, that's always a toss-up in that stadium.
So the closing stretch here, 2 more in Seattle, day off. 3 in Milwaukee, then it's back home for the final homestand of the regular season. 3 against the Reds, 3 more with the Brewers, and then you wrap it by flying all the way to San Francisco for 3, and then flying all the way back to Chicago to wrap it.
Well, the good part about that is you got 2 teams in front of you that you got to be able to catch.
Right.
I mean, you can win all you want, but if they keep winning, then it doesn't really make a difference. But Reds, Giants are sitting in front of you. You have a chance to beat them and leapfrog them, hopefully.
It's 8:40 again tonight. All these games with Seattle are 8:40s, and the Cardinals are off Thursday before they head to American Family Field in Milwaukee. All right, are you familiar with the term Phillies Karen?
I am.
Do you know who Phillies Karen is?
I do.
All right. We'll get Mike Rennick's thoughts on the Karen that stole the home run ball from the little kid. Still trying to identify her. Sports Huddle. It's the Sports Huddle on SEMO ESPN Radio. Eric Shawn and Mike Rennick in studio. Mike, did you know Cardinals shortstop Mason Wynn leads all of Major League Baseball? I'm not just talking shortstops. He leads everyone in Major League Baseball with 22 outs above average.
I did not know that.
His .994 fielding percentage leads all MLB shortstops, and it is the best by a Cardinal shortstop over a full season ever. Surpassing, and again, .994, surpassing David Eckstein, the 06 world title team, had a .989 field. Paul DeYoung also was at .989 in 2019. No Ozzie Smith.
Yeah, he's having a fantastic year. I mean, we've talked about the Gold Glove, in his future. Boy, that throw last night, see that relay that he had
fantastic.
From Victor Scott II. They were able to gun down the runner at home, and I mean, nobody else gets him out. I mean, it was a split second and just a rocket from deep second or so to get the out at home. And there's so many double plays. I mean, you just go down the list of outs that he records, or the Cardinals record because of his arm. And you mentioned Paul DeYoung. Wasn't there a little bit of a narrative that his range was not very good, but what he got to, he made the play on. He didn't get a lot of love, it seemed like, at shortstop, because you would see other players across the league maybe making plays deep in the hole, or
I don't
up
think
the middle.
DeYoung or Eckstein, to be fair,
and Eckstein the same way potentially.
To be fair, had the range Ozzie Smith had. I mean,
right.
We're just strictly going by fielding percentage, and that is not always the best defensive metric. We have all of these other metrics now, where guys like Tyler O'Neill win a Gold Glove.
Yeah, but I'd say Mason Wynn has the range.
It would be an outrage at this point if he is not the Gold Glove winner.
At this point, it would be. And there's not much time left.
Is that fair?
Matt, I think so.
So the term Phillies Karen has been trending all weekend. A Phillies Marlins game, a Karen, blonde-haired, short blonde-haired woman. There's a home run hit. I'm sure you've seen the video by now. If you've been on social media, you have seen it. If not, we'll give you a quick recap. It's a home run into the left field seats. And
Hit by Harrison Bader.
Yes. So Bader hits the home run. She's going for the ball from where she is sitting with, we surmise it's her husband. And the ball kind of ricocheted and kind of hit her in the midsection and bounced down onto the concrete underneath the chair backs. One reason that she wasn't able to grab it immediately is because she had her phone in her hand. And so a guy in a Phillies jersey, she's wearing a Phillies jersey, he comes over and the ball is laying there and he grabs it, goes back, puts it in his son's glove. His son, what would you say? He looked like he's 10 or 11?
Somewhere in there, yeah.
Okay. She immediately makes a beeline over to the man, grabs him by the shoulder, and he's startled by the whole thing, and she starts berating, and, that's mine. You took it from me. And rather than get into a confrontation in front of his son, and he's talked about it afterwards, he wanted to show him how to resolve something and not escalate a situation, gave the baseball to the woman, and she walks back. Fans around, now there's other video, fans around her, all of a sudden, that's not going to fly at a ball game. First of all, you're not entitled to any baseball. Is it her first time ever at a baseball game? Balls are up for grabs, man. It's whoever gets the ball.
Whoever gains possession.
That's right. Just because you had a hand on it doesn't mean it's your ball.
Yeah.
And so the fans around, they start giving her the business. And so she is flipping off fans sitting around her. This has been, people are outraged by this. Clearly, they've been all the internet sleuths have been trying to identify her. She has not been identified. There are multiple names of women that came out. They've all been debunked, that they are not. In fact, there was one report. This is the woman's name. She is a school administrator in a school district in New Jersey. That school district had to issue a statement. She does not work for us. And, oh, by the way, if she did work for us or had it been one of our students, they would have caught the ball. It was a great way to end the statement, right?
Yeah.
And so this one woman was identified, and she's like, man, honestly, I wish I was as thin as that woman. But I'm not. I'm not her, and I'm a Red Sox fan. So,
yeah.
So people are still trying. But now there are hysterical internet memes. There is Halloween costumes of her with the blonde,
be the old Bartman scenario.
and the Phillies jersey. But during the game, the video is going viral. And so the Philadelphia Phillies sent one of their representatives, a female, and she had a goodie bag that she brought to the young kid. And everything got back to Harrison Bader. And after the game, Bader invited the boy and his family, downstairs in the tunnel outside the locker room. He signed a baseball bat for him. And he sent him away with a bunch of swag for the Phillies with the whole thing. And now people are still trying to identify her. I can't believe they haven't identified her yet. You'd think somebody knows who she is.
Yeah.
At some point,
maybe no one really cares for her.
But people are going crazy. What do you think of her actions? I mean, it has sparked outrage. Now, there are contrarians that are coming out and saying, I support her, and if she wants to go get the base. Okay, whatever. What were your thoughts when you first saw it, saw the video, saw the entire story of the Phillies, Karen?
Well, you had to watch it a few times just to make sure that the scenario was a typical scenario of a foul ball or a home run ball going into the stands, and it bounces around everywhere. Everybody goes for it, and then one person, typically pretty friendly, grabs the ball, puts the hand up, and like, I got it, and that's exactly what happened. I mean,
people don't chase you down for the ball.
No, I mean
it touched me, it's mine.
She had that'd be like, and I'm sure if I was sitting with you, I could see the ball kind of probably grazing off your hands, grazing off your hands and going 2 rows behind, and someone else gets it, and you're like, hey, like, that ball hit my hands, it's my ball. The gentleman clearly and fairly gained control of the ball. There's no doubt about it. She is completely, again, if you've been to a baseball game and you kind of know the etiquette as to how that whole situation typically goes, totally in the wrong.
There are rules for foul balls.
Home runs, which that was.
And home runs.
Yeah.
There are rules. Follow the rules.
That's right.
Whoever gets it, it's their ball. Nobody chases them down. Now, if you snatched it away from a kid, or there was a kid there and you snatched it before the kid could grab it, you may take some verbal abuse. And we have seen plenty of videos where an adult gets a ball, a kid is nearby, and guess what? That person gives the ball to the kid.
Yeah. And that's
plenty of videos.
That happens a lot. I do have to say this, though, and I know this may, be a little different. Like, I think the dad handled it well. You could see both sides. You could see, no, I'm not going to give in to, this person who is clearly.
And there are plenty of people that are berating the dad. Come on, man.
Right.
Really? You're going to let her boss you in front of your kid and the whole. And he said, I'm trying to teach my son a lesson. There's no reason for a massive piece of confrontation right now. That's not what I want to teach my son.
Which is his prerogative. And in the end, who ended up with the much better experience? I mean, he got an autographed bat by Harrison Bader. The love that he was given, by the team wouldn't have happened, had it just been a ball that went in the stands. So,
how quickly do you think she dyed her hair a different color after the game?
I don't know.
Do you think she's going to get identified for real? There have been all kinds of misidentifications with this woman.
I mean, again, in the world we live in, it's pretty hard to go undercover in situations like this. So I'm sure at some point something will come out.
I'm impressed that she has remained anonymous this long, because some people are going to be obsessed with it. There are internet sleuths, man. They are.
And I think that's overboard.
Yeah.
Like, she was overboard.
Yeah.
It's over. Move on. And
they want to make her life tough.
Well, she'll there's a phrase called karma, and eventually that may come around, but there's better things to do with your time than try to figure out who this lady is.
There you go. All right. Are you a fan of Pardon the Interruption on ESPN? Tony Kornheiser, Michael Wilbon?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Big development with that show, which has been on the air for decades. We don't have time to get into it today. That is called a tease, Mike, and we will talk about that tomorrow. I got all the info on the future of Pardon the Interruption. Michael Wilbon, Tony Kornheiser. All right, 8:40 Cardinal game tonight. It's a Tuesday, so we've got no football.
Nothing but baseball.
That's it.
All right.
Keep an eye on it and the wild card races. Say hello to the radiant and ravishing Don Sean. We went last night, went out to eat, had a really nice little dinner, and so she was fired up about that, and she will have her next day off coming up on Thursday.
Very nice.
All right. So you and I back tomorrow, and
hoping the Cards are 3.5 back.
There's a
The
shot.
next time we talk.
There's a shot. Got to see if they can do it. 17 games left. All right. See you tomorrow.
See you.
All right. That is Michael Rennick. Stay tuned. Clinton and Friends coming up next on ESPN Radio. Enjoy your Tuesday, everybody.